What's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another deck profile. This time we have a sub-requested deck profile, the Mass Saiyan. So I really like the position the Mass Saiyan is sitting in going into set 4. It's a really strong aggro deck, and given the right setup of turns, it can actually give these SS3 decks a big run for their money. If you go first and you set up an energy and they go second and aren't able to self-awaken, you just put incredible pressure on them because you're going to put them very possibly to 3 life, and you're going to be able to kind of set the tempo of the game that way by just making them awaken too early, denying them card advantage with crit. And even if you go second, you're still in a pretty good predicament because you can still put a lot of pressure on them. You can double strike crit them or just put them at 5, and you make a lot of their self-waiting cards less valuable that way. So I really like the position the deck's going into, and I made this deck to hold a lot of meta calls that I think are going to be really good for the format. So without further ado, we'll get into the deck profile. So we've got the Mass Saiyan, starter deck leader. He's really popular amongst a lot of players. So what he does is, once per turn, you can mill the top 3 cards of your deck. If you mill a black card, he gains critical for the turn. And if you mill any colored card, he gains 5,000 power for the turn. So then he awakens at 4 life and draws 2 cards to become Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. Typical attack, draw a card, and you can do the same effect where you mill the top 3 cards of your deck. If it's a black card, critical. If it's a card with a color, gains 5k. Really good thing to note is, on a turn you're going to awaken. When you mill with your Mass Saiyan leader and you get a power boost, he will retain the power boost when he awakens. So if you power boost it on the unawakened side and go to the awakened side, he'll be a 20k attacker, but the critical will not carry over. So it's pretty popular for a lot of players to use the effects on both sides, and hopefully on the awakened side you hit a black card, so this way you can have a 25k single strike crit, and then if you throw a double strike on top of that or any combos, you just have a giant crit swinger. But now for the main deck, we've got our super combo, the Supreme Kai of Time. Only super combo you can play the black leader, and it's really great because it turns on really early, so we're playing it at 4. Then we've got the Time's Choice Supreme Kai of Time. I really like this card for a few reasons. One of which, in my opinion, in this deck, it's a much better Time Patrol Trunks because it digs deeper for those combo pieces you need, especially your super combos. I really don't like milling my super combos, so this thing being able to dig 3 cards deep for my super combo is really good. And it's a guaranteed overall play on any given turn with your leader's mill 3 effect, and it also threatens an awakened leader. Back in the day with Mass Saiyan, a lot of times you would combo your small overwhelm plays into your attack to make your crit stronger. But the way life is just waning so fast in this format, you're gonna attack with this guy a lot. You're gonna just try and apply pressure, especially when your opponent's awakened, just so they have to waste cards out of their hand to combo. And if they go down to 3, it just makes you that much easier to kill them. So I really like this card in the deck. Then we got 2 Increasing Evil Mass Saiyan. I wanted a total of 8 awakening cards in the deck, and this one lets me play it alongside things like my Trunks and Kava instead of relying on more red energy to play them. So I really like this card in the deck, and plus it's a giant 20k body that's really threatening to an awakened leader. Then we've got the 3 Trunks Overseeing Time. This card is really good. 4 felt a little cloggy just because of the 2 energy requirement, and in this deck you're playing with very low energy. So I feel like 3 is perfect. This combo with like a Senzu Bean just makes some really nutty plays, and it's great pressure going for game. Grab any card back from your warp when you play it, so you're usually going to grab back your super combos. But I've grabbed things back like my Trunkses or my Kavas just because I was at like 5 life and it needed me to push to awaken. So I really like this card in the deck. Then we got 4 Mass Saiyan the Mysterious Warrior. It's not our only spot removal in the deck, but it's our best spot removal in the deck. Plus it's a 20k finisher with double strike and a 10k combo, which we actually want to have a fair amount of 10k combos just for defending ourselves and not wasting too many cards. So this card's really good in the deck at 4. And then 3 Scientist Fu. Some people think it's really hard to get 7 in the drop in this deck. It's really not, especially when you get to the later part of the game where you have to defend yourself. So if you defend yourself on a given turn with, let's say, 3 or 4 cards, you use your leader effect, mill 3, and then Scientist Fu is very easy to drop. And this is probably the best finisher in the deck. 25k double strike, draws you 2. It's really strong. Now we have our blue package. So the reason we're playing a blue package is because defense is really important in this format. We don't have the luxury of untapping 3 at the end of our turn like Super Saiyan 3 does, so we need to play this deck a certain way in order to have our best chance of winning against SS3. So we're playing 4 Senzu Bean. This card just enables nutty turns where you can double strike crit someone, and then untap an energy to drop a intensifying power Trunks or a Kava. It's just a great, and it's also a great defensive card, so we're playing it. Then we have the 4 Weakness Coercion. It's probably the best negate that Mass Saiyan can play, especially because it just allows you to defend more on your turn. So we're playing that at 4. And then we have 4 Courageous Heart Yajirobe. So we are playing blockers in this deck, and that is because SS3 GT is the most scary deck right now to a lot of people. So this is a MetaCall that I'm playing. This card just makes them stop in their tracks for the most part. They can flute this back to your hand, but they're most likely going to flute their own cards until they get later into their combo where they can drop their finisher. So if they do decide to flute this, they're not drawing a card out of it, so they're negging 1. And then the point of playing 4 of this and the 4 Legic is so that you can have blockers on your board where 1 flute isn't going to cut it. They have to waste multiple flutes to get rid of your blockers, and at that point they're just negging themselves so hard. Not that they're automatically going to lose because of it, but they don't have an amazing answer to this card. They may potentially tech in like Family Justice on Goten, but that makes their energy flip that much worse. So they really can't play any efficient answers to this card. And once you have dropped multiple in a game between this and Bodyguard Legic, you're going to be in a good position. So then we have the red package. We have the Intensifying Power Trunks. This is one of the best cards in the deck. Helps you awaken, deals more critical damage. Really, really strong. You'll probably recycle this a lot with your Trunks power overseeing time. Then we have only 2 Saiyan Kaba. Kaba's basically a 5th and 6th copy of Intensifying Power Trunks, but sometimes giving your opponent the double strike, the 2 extra cards, is not optimal. We're playing it at 2 because it's a cheap finisher late game, so it's really, really good at that. Just getting in the last double strike when you have that one last energy up to really finish off the game. But if you see it, instead of seeing Intensifying Power Trunks, you're still going to be able to help yourself self-awaken. So that's why I'm playing 2 of this and 2 of the Increasing Evil Mass Saiyan, just to help you awaken more, because we don't have access to flute, so we can't really recycle our 1-drops, unfortunately. Then we're playing 4 Bodyguard Legic. This card's really great, especially when you have to go second. You drop a free blocker, and it just gives you that safety that you need, especially if you're going to tap out on your turn. You want to try as much as you can to not tap out on your turn, but the way this deck plays, sometimes you just don't have a choice. You need to deal that pressure, and you need to be able to defend yourself at the same time. So Senzu Bean is really helpful with that, with making you not have to tap out. But if you don't have the perfect hand, Bodyguard Legic is there to give you a security blanket. This, comboed with Heart Yajirobe, is really, really strong against the SS3 deck. Then we have the most staple card in this entire deck, the Furthering Instruction Champa. Slap a 10k combo, double strike on your leader with critical. Can't go wrong there. Then we have the 4 Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Gokus. It's a great red energy, and it's a great red card. So this is our best defensive card that isn't a negate. So when we leave energy up, we combo with this to save off some of that insane aggro, draw a card, so it replaces itself and we don't neg on it. And it's also very helpful for going for game. So yeah, like I said, this deck is really, really good at applying a lot of pressure. We're kind of seeing a flashback to mecha format where people were splashing a blue engine in their Mass Saiyan decks, and it's really, really good because you put up a threat that the scariest deck in the upcoming format can't deal with very well. And on top of that, you have 4 other blockers. So if you drop one of these and 1 to 2 Yajirobes, they're not going to waste 3 flutes on all your blockers. So it really just gives you a security blanket. Weakness Coercion is there because you want to remain at 4 life as much as you can against the SS3 deck. Once you're at 3 life, and if you don't have any of your blockers established, you're in a really bad position. So the coercions are there to ensure that you try and stay at 4 life as much as you can, and the Senzu Beans enable those crazy combos. So that's why we're not going full aggro on this deck. We need that little bit of defense in the deck. But like I said, I do like this deck, the position this deck is in going forward. I've had a lot of fun playing this deck online, and I hope you enjoy the deck profile. If you like this video, please leave a like, please leave me that thumbs up, and if you want to continue to get more great content from us, please consider subscribing to our channel. It would really, really mean the world to me. And with that being said, this is Joey, and I'll see you next time.